Good evening, people. Good evening, everyone. So today we'll start with this new topic, that is socialization. There is a topic in your syllabus that is role of socialization. So in that we have to discuss the different agencies, the technique of socialization, and what is the concept of socialization, right? Priya, how is your leg now? Actually, to be very honest, yesterday it was far better. Today I am actually getting the heat of it. कल तक तो मुझे लग रहा था कि it's okay, मतलब it's not a big deal types. But yeah, so yeah, today I'm actually feeling the heat of it. कि let's see. Anyway, चलो, we'll start with this. ये बना लो तो मुझे बताना. So just very briefly, what we discussed yesterday, I hope you've gone through those diagrams which we made. You've understood the interrelationships between the different concepts, that is value, attitude, moral, ethics. See, as in when we are further discussing, we'll discuss attitude in detail. We'll further discuss ethics, right, in detail. We'll discuss emotions in detail. So there would be separate classes on these three topics, right? So you don't need to worry about it. And as in when you're doing your case studies and all also, you will study how to resolve the ethical dilemmas. Okay? So yeah. So we'll take, so whatever we have discussed yesterday, I hope things are clear now. Okay? Just make sure that whenever we are discussing any example in general also, or let us say some example has been given on the response portal, right? So just keep making note of it. So the thing is that the more you have examples at your disposal, the more you will get the clarity regarding the concept, right? So whenever you are in any case of doubt, okay, so it is always advisable, the more you read the concept and the more you try to relate it with certain examples, things will start falling in place automatically. Is that clear? Okay. So we'll start the new topic, that is socialization. So what is socialization? First and foremost, write down. Remember, the best thing, or let me tell you the connect between society and ethics. Society में क्या होता है? You just mention socialization. You just mention values, right? You just mention prejudice, right? But when you are discussing in ethics, you have to discuss every topic in detail. Okay? So let's start. So write down, socialization is a process. Socialization is a process by which child is indoctrinated into his culture. Socialization is a process by which child is indoctrinated into his culture. Full stop. It is referred as a process. It is referred as a process by which it is referred as a process by which culture is transmitted. It is referred as a process by which culture is transmitted from one generation to the other. From one generation to the other. See, socialization is a process in which a child is indoctrinated into his culture, as in he is being made an integral component of his culture by telling him about the value systems, the norms which are existing in the society. You are preparing him to adjust with the nuances of the society. So it's a process by which child is indoctrinated into his culture. It is a process by which culture is transmitted from one generation to another. Full stop. Individual develops his personality. Individual develops his personality by learning the content of his culture. Individual develops his personality by learning the content of his culture. By learning the content of his culture. Last, it's a lifelong process. Socialization doesn't start or end at a certain point. It's a lifelong process of shaping individual tendencies. It's a lifelong process of shaping individual tendencies so that he becomes and remain useful, so that he becomes and remain useful and a productive member of his society. Becomes and remain useful and a productive member of his society. Productive member of his society. There are different techniques through which this takes place, socialization. The first is observation learning. See, we all have in our life some social role models. What I mean by social role models is, for example, our parents, for example, our teachers, for example, our siblings. At an early stage, these people, they act as our social role models. And by observing them, we learn. Nobody teaches us. But when you observe your parents, when you observe your teachers, when you observe your siblings, right, the elder siblings, often it happens that without they even teaching you, you imbibe their habits in your everyday practice. So that is observation learning. You observe the social role models and you acquire certain mannerisms, behavior, certain value system. That process is known as observation learning. Is that clear? Another way of socializing the kids is, or the people, the children, is through reward and punishment. If you have displayed a certain behavior for which you have been rewarded, so you get to know that, okay, this is the right behavior and this is what is supposed to be done, because with the display of this behavior, I have been rewarded, right? However, if you have conducted yourself in a certain manner for which you have been punished, so you know that this is not supposed to be done because for this I am being punished, right? So via means of reward and punishment also, you socialize the child with respect to certain values. Is this clear? Next is role taking or play acting. In this, you imaginatively place yourself in the position of others and you try to act like those people. So that is play acting. Is that very clear? Take care. For example, have you seen kids? The kids are playing teacher, teacher, chore police. The kids are playing doctor, doctor. So, are you getting the point? So, or so by taking certain roles, by acting in certain manner or capacity, they try to imbibe those value system. In fact, that doesn't happen only at a very early stage. It also happens in the later stages. For example, I don't know whether you guys have experienced it or not. In our classes, what used to happen when I was in school, the most notorious kid sometimes was to be made the monitor of the class. When our teachers used to be literally fed up with the person who is creating a lot of nuisance in the class, so to get away with his nuisance, they used to make him the monitor. And when you become the monitor, you have been placing yourself imaginatively in the position of a monitor, then you start acting like a monitor, right? And monitors don't create nuisance. So that was one of the technique which was used by those teachers in order to address this problem of nuisance. So this is nothing but role taking or play acting. And last is trial and error. That is learning through your experiences. Okay? Everything cannot be served to you in a platter. Many a times our value system is shaped through our experiences, through our learning in the society. We fail, we learn, we fail, we learn, and then we proceed. So this is how it happens. Is that very clear? Is it making sense? Okay. Write down observation learning. Observation learning. Absolutely. Performing role of Bhagat Singh in any drama. That is what I'm saying when I say role taking or play acting. When you play these characters, you learn the values. Fancy dress competition mein, when you are playing different freedom fighters, right? So you are learning the values of patriotism. Is that clear? When you enact those plays of Romeo, Juliet and everything, you learn the values of love. When you enact or when you are playing those games जो हम घर में बच्चे खेलते थे भाई आप लोग जिस जनरेशन में आए हैं so maybe you are more into those technological games and everything हमारे टाइम पे we used to play these games only चोर पुलिस खेल लिया right and डॉक्टर डॉक्टर टीचर टीचर तो हम कितना खेलते थे so this is how we have been brought up. Is that clear? ठीक है, write down observation learning. Write down the process of learning by watching others. The process of learning by watching others the process of learning by watching others is called observation learning. Observation learning. It occurs through social role models. It occurs through social role models. It occurs through social role models. Like parents, teachers, friends, etc. It occurs through social role models like parents, teachers, friends, etc. मुस्कान उसको भी यही बोलेंगे रोल प्लेइंग प्ले एक्टिंग. Next. Second one is basically known as operant conditioning. Reward and punishment, this is known as operant conditioning. This is known as operant conditioning. Operant conditioning. आदित्य डिपेंड करता है. जैसे मुस्कान said, it depends. if you are imaginatively placing yourself in their position and enacting like them, that is role playing. However, when you are observing them, getting inspired by them and trying to imbibe their value system in your everyday life, that is observation learning. So it depends, right? That what kind of socialization and in what process it is happening. Okay? So this rewards and punishment is also known as operant conditioning. It focuses on using either punishment or rewards. It focuses on using either punishment or rewards to decrease or increase a behavior respectively. To decrease or increase a behavior respectively. Next, role playing or play acting. The process of imagining and visualizing oneself, the process of imagining observation learning. Abhishek, it would be observation learning. The process of imagining and visualizing oneself as someone else. The process of imagining and visualizing oneself as someone else and acting like him. And acting like him is explained as role play. And acting like them is explained as role play. While playing such roles, the individual is able to get a feel. The individual is able to get a feel of how others are feeling, is able to get a feel or get an idea how others are feeling, and hence can suitably modify their response, and hence can suitably modify their response, and hence can suitably modify their response. Ashish, the question that you asked, that when you are play acting or you are observation learning and you are trying to imbibe the character in reality, so there might be certain traits which should not be imbibed, right? There comes into the picture the role of other agencies of socialization. You are inspired by a character. Let us say the character is very heroic, but it's a negative character, right? You were inspired by the character of Kabir Singh. So in your personal relation, you said it's okay to beat your partner, to slap your partner once in odd time. Why? Because you are in love with that person, and out of that feeling of love, you can hit the person also. Okay. Now here comes the role of your education system. Here comes the role of your family. Here comes the role of charismatic personalities who would time and again be telling you that this is not how one is supposed to behave. So that gives you the understanding that where you need to distinguish between the desirable and undesirable behavior. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. Did you get the point? Last, trial and error, right? By self-learning or own experiences. By self-learning or one's own experiences. By self-learning or one's own experiences. So these are nothing but the techniques of socialization. ठीक है? Now, अभी तक तो ये था कि this topic, to be very honest, I personally find the topic slightly dry because more or less we have covered these things when we were discussing in society. So I find it dry. But the relevance of this topic has significantly increased in this year's essay topic, right? So then I got that, वो नहीं होता जब आप कि पढ़े हुए से कुछ आ जाता है, when you've studied something and the question has been asked, it gives you a sense of satisfaction. Okay, now this topic is important, right? So there was this topic this time, hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. It was with respect to socialization. That hand that rocks the cradle, as in the one who gives you the socialization, is actually shaping your value system, which will determine whether you are going to rule the world in a positive capacity or a negative capacity, right? So usually it is perceived that hand that rocks the cradle is that of a mother, right? So within a family, when we are studying, within the family, it is the role of parenting, role of mother, role of father. This is very important to identify what kind of socialization has been provided to the child. So that is why the topic now, no, it still is very dry, but still it is now important because these points can be written in your essays as well. Okay. So let's quickly start with this. Give the first heading, family. Family as an agent of socialization. Family as an agent of socialization. Family as an agent of socialization. It's an informal agency of socialization. Family is an informal agency of socialization. It's an informal agency of socialization. It's an institution. Family is an institution which fulfills the need of value consensus, which fulfills the need of value consensus by socializing the children in their formative years, by socializing the children in their formative years, formative as in early years, in their formative years, by imparting societal values, by imparting societal values, by imparting societal values. I'll repeat. Family is an informal agency of socialization, full stop. It's an institution which fulfills the need of value consensus by socializing the children in their formative years, by imparting societal values. Okay. I'll repeat. Family is an informal agency of socialization, full stop. It is an institution. It is an institution which fulfills. It is an institution which fulfills the need of value consensus. Value consensus matlab uniformity in the value system. So family, if it socializes you with respect to the values which are existing in the society, so it enables us to establish value consensus, right? Similarity, uniformity in the value system. It fulfills the need of value consensus by socializing the children in their formative years. Socializing the children in their formative years by imparting societal values, by imparting societal values. So when they impart you societal values, it creates value consensus. And remember, I told you any society to sustain itself, to survive, needs to have some harmony, stability, and for which one of the prerequisite is value consensus. So it is the institution of family which ensures value consensus by imparting societal values to the children in their formative years. Is that clear? Full stop. It helps children in conforming, it helps children in conforming with the norms and roles. It helps the children in conforming I hope I am audible for everyone. So sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, electricity, I told you na, power cut. जैसे जैसे गर्मी बढ़ेगी. So yeah. So let's get back to what we were discussing. We were discussing role of family as an agent of socialization. Family is the first school that the children visit, right? The parents, they are acting as a role model for the kids. These kids, they model their behavior around their parents. So by observing the parents, learning from the parents, the child is shaping their behavior. Is that very clear? It is the first school. So I have to repeat from the last point. Okay? So I'll repeat. I said it helps children in conforming with the norms and roles required for integration into the community. You were asking me to repeat this na? हाँ, वही मैं repeat कर रही हूँ. I'm repeating. ठीक है? I'm repeating. It helps children in conforming with the norms and roles required for integration into the community. For integration into the community. Full stop. What I wrote on the screen, that has also gone again. So what I wrote on the screen was that family is the first school of value learning. It is the first school that we visit. Family members are immediate role models for us, right? So write down, family is the first school of value learning. Family is the first school of value learning. The family members acts as an agency or role models भी कह सकते थे, immediate role models. Immediate role models. The values such as love, honesty, sacrifice, brotherhood, cooperation, all of this is taught by the family. It is taught by the family. It is taught by the family. Is taught by the family. So family is the first school of value learning. Family members are the immediate role models for the kids, for the children. It is the family which imparts the values of sacrifice, love, honesty, truthfulness, happiness, cooperation, brotherhood, loyalty, कुछ भी लिखना चाहो. Whichever value you think you have got from your family, you can write it here. And how those values are often inculcated, obviously they are acting as a role models, that is there, but it is also inculcated through stories, through life lessons. Parents nahi hote, parents have innumerable stories to tell us, to share with us. So it is through the experiences of our parents, through the life lessons of the parents, the stories that they tell us. It is the fact that these values are inculcated. Is this clear? Abu, we seriously don't have bandwidth. Otherwise, I would have taken leave. But बिल्कुल scope नहीं है, इसीलिए. You guys are belonging to the batches like RB1, 2, 3, which has started like way back. And I'm still left with my ethics classes. I'm still left with post-independent social justice. We just don't have bandwidth. Otherwise, seriously, I would have taken leave. But और ये तो 3 हफ्ते का बयाना है. It will take at least 3 weeks to recover. So इतना तो leave नहीं possible होगा यार. But thank you. So guys, did you write this much? First school of value learning. They are the immediate role models, and these are the values which are inculcated through stories, life lessons, etc. Now, a general understanding is existing that initially it is the joint family which used to impart the values to us. Remember, primary socialization and agency of social control. But then it was said over a period of time, the structure of the family has underwent a change. So that means that no longer there's a perception. I'm not saying this is the reality. So there is a perception which is existing that now, since the structure of the family is undergoing a change, no longer it is acting as an instrument of value imparting, right? So that is a perception. However, it was being seen that although the structure of the family has underwent a change, remember initially it used to be a joint family, and then it resulted into emergence of new types of families. Remember, we discussed in society class. That is why I teach society pehle. There were new types of families which have emerged, whether it is nuclear families with extended ties, single parent families, female headed households. So there are different types of families which have emerged. That does not mean that the role of family as an agency of socialization has been undermined. At max, what has happened? The kind of values being imparted might have undergone a change, might have undergone a change at max. This is what has happened. But ऐसा नहीं है that the role of family as an agent of socialization has been undermined. Family still performs the most important role when it comes down to socialization, right? So at max, what has happened is that the nature of the values that it is imparting might have underwent a change. So write down. Write down. In recent years, In recent years, certain changes have been witnessed. Certain changes have been witnessed in the structure of the family. In recent years, certain changes have been witnessed in the structure of the family. For example, single parent families, nuclear families, reconstituted families. reconstituted families का मतलब होता है आजकल डिवोर्स रेट्स वगैरह होते हैं ना, तो reconstituted families मतलब let us say there are two people who have got divorced. Now they have got married separately. So now altogether a family setup has been reconstituted. They might have taken some children along with them, right? So let us say there was a couple AB and they had two kids. They got divorced. So they have taken the custody of one kid each. Now they got remarried into another family, right? Both the parents, right? They have married the separate couples. So now there is a reconstituted family where you are living with your stepchildren, with your stepfather or a stepmother. So that is what it means when I say reconstituted families. So increased divorce rates have led to the emergence of reconstituted families. So there is single parent family, there is nuclear families, there is female headed households, there is reconstituted family due to increased divorce rate, etc. However, despite these changes, family still plays an important role. Family still plays an important role in transmission of values to the children. In transmission of values to the children. The role of family, however, I'll repeat, however, despite these changes, family still plays a vital and important role, especially in terms of transmission of societal values to the children. The role of family is still prominent. Role of family is still prominent across. Role of family is still prominent across all stages of learning and development. Across all stages of learning and development. Across all stages of learning and development for children. For children. Is this very clear? For example, what I meant, just listen carefully, I said that still family is only performing very important role with respect to values. However, at max what can happen is the nature of values have underwent a change. For example, एक time था when joint families were imparting the values of, let us say, cooperation, values of collective orientation, values of familial obedience, right, or delayed gratification. These were the values which were inculcated especially by the joint families. At max, what has happened with the emergence of nuclear families, the value system such as competition, individualism, immediate gratification, these value systems have emerged, right? Consumerism, achievement orientation. These values, collective orientation, Chitransh, society first lecture, thinking about the collective, thinking about the family first, then about your own self-interest. That is collective orientation. So at max, you can say that modern families' value system is different. But you can't say that family no longer is an important agent of socialization for the kids. Is that very clear? Okay? Collective orientation means giving primacy to the interest of the collective. Delayed gratification मतलब अपना फायदा नहीं देखेंगे. You would not seek immediate results. Delayed gratification. कर्म कर फल की चिंता मत कर. So you are delaying your own personal gratification for the sake of the collectivity, for the sake of the family. You are putting your own personal vested interest at stake. You are delaying your gratification. Nuclear families, immediate gratification. Achievement orientation, consumerism. These are the values which are being told by the nuclear families. नहीं शिवम, नहीं, इसीलिए laws have not been very effective. That is why laws are not effective. Remember kal wala statement that law can influence your behavior only when you have the underlying conscience to do that. Remember that one quotation I gave of Andre Bete in society classes. Law determines the direction in which society should move. It is the family and culture which determines the direction in which society actually moves. So did you get the point? Ashish, we'll not get into the debate of whether it is right or wrong. I told you, there is different school of thoughts which are existing. Something which is right for you might not be right for me. But serving your vested interest, personal interest without causing harm to others is justified. In fact, do you realize one of the challenge of these value system, although this is very good, right? It will ensure cooperation and harmony. But at a certain point of time, it will lead to self-alienation. You will be alienated from your own self. You will be made to behave in a manner which is not your true personality. एक concept इसके लिए होता है, ऐसे ही बता रही हूं. It will lead to prostitution of personality. आपकी पर्सनालिटी ही प्रोस्टिट्यूट हो जाती है. प्रोस्टिट्यूशन ऑफ पर्सनालिटी, बिकॉज नो लॉन्गर दैट इज योर ट्रू पर्सनालिटी. You have developed that personality under the obligation which is created by the value system of joint family. So your personality gets camouflaged, it gets prostituted. So that is prostitution of personality. So in that capacity, serving your vested interest is justified. But while serving your vested interest, you should not cause harm to others. That is what is more important. Is that clear? ठीक है. हाँ नेहा, that's what I said. That is what I said. That while serving your personal interest, you should not cause harm to others. That is the most human thing to do. Right? Do not cause harm to others. That's all. So when you are serving your own vested interest, you should not cause harm to environment. You should not misappropriate the funds, because in serving your economic interest, you are denying the economic justice to a lot of marginalized sections of the society. So that should not be done. Right? So iske liye Neha, whenever we have a confusion that what is supposed to be done, prepare 7 sins of Gandhi. That's your next assignment. In the first lecture, I gave you the assignment that your fundamental duties should be right on your tips. Now what should be on your tips is 7 sins of Gandhi. Gandhi's 7 sins. He has clearly specified in different walks of life how an individual is supposed to act. Right? So 7 sins of Gandhi. That's your next assignment. Just write it down somewhere. This is going to be very helpful in writing your answers, whether ethics or essay paper. Is that clear? Next. Now, with respect to socialization by the family, there are 3 things we have to talk about. That is role of parenting. Very quickly, we'll take this. Role of mother. And role of father. There are 3 types of parenting. Autocratic parenting, democratic parenting, and permissive parenting. There are 3 types of parenting. This is the style of behavior reflected by the parents or displayed by the parents. So parenting, there are three types of parenting: autocratic, democratic, permissive parenting. Seven Sins of Gandhi ji. Google it. Google Seven Sins of Gandhi. Wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, science without humanity, knowledge without character, politics without principle, commerce without morality, worship without sacrifice. Right, exactly, Neha. Thank you. ठीक है? Write this down. Role of parenting. This will always act as a guide for you, that how are you supposed to act in a situation. So these seven sins of Gandhi. If you are worshipping without making sacrifices, if your politics is without principle, if your knowledge is without character, that is what it is being said. In the absence of value-based education, that means this is no education at all. Right? Education without values, no matter how useful it is, it seems to create clever devil. That is what I think C.S. Lewis said. Right? That Pushpendra, I'll explain everything, bache. I'll explain everything. Okay? So these quotations are very handy. Whenever you get time, just prepare these. Anyhow, we'll take each of these things one by one. Let's start. Autocratic parenting. Autocratic parenting, इसमें लिखो, it believes in restricting the autonomy of children. It believes in restricting the autonomy of the children. It believes in restricting the autonomy of children. हाँ रिमझिम, it is all the part of family, all the part of family. ठीक है. It believes in restricting the autonomy of the children. That's first point. Second, parents impose their values on the children. So forcefully the parents are imposing their values on the children. Second point. Parents impose their value system on the children. As a result, either the child becomes too compliant or the child becomes hostile. So autocratic parenting has two results. So what is autocratic parenting? You believe in restricting the autonomy of your kids. You try to forcefully impose your value system on the kids. तो दो तरह के बच्चे निकलते हैं, या तो they will be highly obedient, highly compliant, or they will be highly hostile. Is that very clear? And the value system which you will find in such kids is they are less cooperative, they are less bold, because many a times when the kids are too compliant, then they do not have that boldness in them. They might be biased, they lack compassion, they themselves can be autocratic. So if there is authoritarian parenting or autocratic parenting, this is what will be reflected in the kids. They will be less cooperative, they will be less bold, or they might be more autocratic. You never know. But this is not the right kind of personality which we want to see in the future of our country. So less cooperative, less bold, more biased, lacking compassion. They themselves might be autocratic. They can be more self-centric also. More self-centric. हाँ, general नहीं, हाँ, we have not demarcated that. That is quite obvious. अगर compliant होगा तो boldness नहीं होगी, ठीक है? Whereas if hostility आ जाती है तो they themselves can be autocratic, they can be more self-centric, they can be less cooperative, they can become less compassionate because they have become hostile, right? That is in general observation. In democratic parenting, the relationship between the parents and the kids is based on rationality. It is based on equality. It is based on openness. In fact, parents are open and receptive of the feedback which is given by the kids. The parents exhibit the values of tolerance, patience, and they do not believe in giving punishments, but when you display the desired behavior, then rewards are definitely being given. Is that clear? So they do not believe in giving physical punishment. In case they have to discipline their kids, they will rely on withdrawal of love or threatening to withdraw the love. कि चलो आज हम तुमसे बात नहीं करेंगे, जाओ. Instead of giving the physical punishment, in order to discipline the kids, they would rely on withdrawal of love or threat to withdraw the love. Okay? Nobody is going to speak to him, or not fulfilling their wishes, right? So now, rather than indulging yourself in the physical punishment, they would resort to these means. Here the power distance between the parents and the kids is minimum. The kids are quite comfortable in sharing their problems with their parents, right? Here parents are exhibiting the values of patience, tolerance. Here the parents believe in dealing with the children in a very rational or the issue based manner or issue oriented manner. Anything you can talk about. But this is what it means when we say democratic parenting. So whenever there is democratic parenting, you will see the values of compassion, values of objectivity, value of love, cooperation. Okay? So this is all what is reflected in the kids when the parenting is democratic. The kid would become more tolerant. Kids will be more patient. हाँ आदित्य, तभी तो बोला था कि जब compliant होगा तब they will become less bold. But when they will become hostile, they might themselves turn into autocratic. That is what I said. Autocratic, you have always seen your parents to be serving their own vested interests. They are imposing their value system on you. So you have seen your parents to be self-centered. They are not taking into consideration your thought process, your value system, your point of view. They are only trying to impose their value system blatantly on you. So you have seen them being self-centric. There is no openness. There is no discussion, deliberation on the issues. Democracy is missing. Any decision is unilaterally taken by the parents, right? So there is a biased orientation which develops, that whatever is your point of view, that is the right point of view. Rewards are given for display of desired behavior. I'll repeat the values. I'll repeat the values. Write down. The values which are developed in kids are, objectivity, compassion, tolerance, impartiality, cooperation, etc. Objectivity, tolerance, cooperation, compassion, impartiality, etc. Aditya, I don't think so. I don't think so. There are drawbacks. I don't think so. Matlab, at least as of now, I can't visualize. If I look, let's do one thing. If I look at the conceptual understanding, right? Let us say we are studying this topic for the very first time, every one of us, right? So if I look at the concept in a very objective manner, the relationship between the parents and the children, it is based on equality. We are equal. There is no power distance, right? On every issue, we are deciding on the basis of the content of the issue, and rationality would be the domain. That would be the premise of our discussion. That is what it is saying. I would not resort to physical punishment to discipline you. Obviously, I have to school you because you are a kid. You need to be told what is right, what is wrong. So whenever you are doing something right, I am rewarding you. So there is a positive regard for your good behavior, right? So I am rewarding you. But when you are doing something wrong, I am not indulging in physical punishment, because physical punishment can leave the scars which can stay in the mind and the heart of the kids for a very long period of time. So other than that, I am resorting to the withdrawal of love, right? By telling you that no longer I will care for you if you are going to do this, right? Or I'm just creating a false threat. But I am not indulging myself in any kind of physical violence. Whenever there is an issue, I am very open, and without being judgmental, I am going to act like a friend to them. I'm going to listen to whatever they are saying. And I will always be open for the feedback. If I have conducted myself in a manner in which my kids are also not happy, so I am open to their feedback also. That if they say that you have acted in a very irrational manner, so I would not, that you are a kid, you are not supposed to tell me what is right and wrong. I have seen the world a lot. No, I will be open and receptive to the feedback which is given to me. So if I am going to exhibit, I will be very tolerant towards their diverse opinion, because obviously between the parents and the kids, there would be a generation gap. Okay, specifically in today's time, 25 years of gap is there between the parents and the kids. So there is a generation gap. My understanding of the issue would be very different from their understanding of the issue. But I will exhibit the quality of tolerance. I will be tolerant towards diverse opinion. I would be patient in my act towards them, in handling them. I do not see any problem. At max, decision making can be delayed. because it might take some time to convince the kids and the otherwise. So that can be the reason. Aditya, I personally do not believe that in physically resorting to physical violence to school the kids. That's my personal opinion. You can disagree with that, but that's my personal opinion. I think that should be reflected in your conduct. The child do learn by observing. That's my first observation. And I've seen my kid growing. He's just 2.5 years. And the manner I conduct myself, there is a very high probability that he literally copies me, right? So that is there. Okay. So one thing is that, and second thing is that whenever you try to school your kid in a very harsh manner, they tend to retaliate. So this is my personal opinion. You can totally disagree with that, but I do not agree of physically hitting the kids. No, I don't. ठीक है. ये कैसी बात हुई? Just because you have an equal voice, why will you listen? Having an equal voice is very different from not listening to your parents. Having an equal voice means you can keep your point of view, and whichever point of view is right, that needs to be followed. Not always parents are right and not always the kids are right, because kids have other medium of socialization as well. There are many times where parents are still stuck in their orthodox thinking, and the world around is changing a lot. There is new value system which is emerging and which is progressive. I'm only talking about those value systems which are progressive. And if the child get to know about those value system and wants to reason it out with the parents, so that is providing equal space. But not respecting your parents, so that is the value system. The socialization has been wrong in the very first place. That you have not learned to respect your elders. You have not learned to respect your parents. You have not learned to respect the fact that they are old. They might not be exposed to the new value system. Right? So that means there is something wrong with the process of the socialization in the very first place. That is what I'm saying. Is that clear? वो सबका अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. आपको जो करना है, आपको लातों से मारना है, बातों से मारना है, जो भी करो. दैट्स माय पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. दैट्स माय पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. ठीक है. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. कहां थे? नहीं नहीं, आई टोटली अग्री कि आप लोग ये बिलीव करते हो, बट ठीक है. बट ये मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है. सो आई एम सो सॉरी इफ आई डिसअपॉइंटेड यू, बट दिस इज माय व्यू. आई डोंट बिलीव इन फिजिकल पनिशमेंट्स. बट एनी हाउ, कहां थे हम यार? ये हो गया. नेक्स्ट, परमिसिव पेरेंटिंग. Permissive parenting means providing freedom to the child to such an extent that it is consistent with their physical survival. I'll explain. Providing freedom to children to an extent that it is in tandem with their physical survival. It is consistent or it is in tandem with their physical survival. मतलब हिंदी में, जब तक जान पर बात ना आ जाए तब तक यू आर गिविंग utmost freedom to your children. So till the time it is consistent or in tandem or in sync with their physical survival, you are giving freedom to your kids. Absolutely, Vishaka. नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं विक्रम. नो नो, एब्सोल्युटली नॉट. Okay, I'll change the color. providing freedom to children to an extent that it is in tandem with their physical survival. मतलब तब तक जब तक जान पे नहीं बन जाती है तब तक बच्चों को छोड़ दो. ये आजकल की पेरेंटिंग है. This is new age parenting, where children are treated more like a liability rather than a responsibility. Parents are busy in their own life. Kids, despite having good schooling and everything, are sent to the hostels. हाँ, मैं एग्जाम्पल दे रही हूं. आई एम गिविंग एग्जाम्पल. See, I am not generalizing and I am not questioning anyone's personal behavior, but this is what permissive parenting means, that you are giving a lot of freedom to your kids. You have actually misunderstood or misconstrued the notion of independence. Giving independence and voice to your kids doesn't mean that you stop getting involved in their activities. It is the role of the parents to take note of the fact that children do not indulge themselves into deviant or disapproved behavior. So you keep on giving freedom. अरे हम तो अपने बच्चे को बहुत आजादी देते हैं. ये भी तो देखो that आजादी should not be misused. So the independence which you have given to your kids, at least make sure that they are not indulging in some malpractices. So you are giving so much of freedom to your kids until and unless their physical survival is not getting questioned. Now, father is busy in his work, mother is busy in her job. Let us say, it's not the case with everyone. I am saying where the parenting is permissive, that you have, or it is characterized by neglect. It is characterized by apathy. It is characterized by indifference. The parents are neglecting their responsibility to socialize the kid. They are indifferent towards the needs of the kid. So that is the problem. That now the children are resorting to practices which are not healthy. But the problem is that parents don't care. They don't bother. They are busy with their friend circle. They are busy with their parties. They are busy with their workspace, work culture. They are enjoying their own freedom. So they want their kids to enjoy their own freedom. So that is what it is happening. Is this very clear? Absolutely, permissive parenting is very unhealthy for the society. ये तो फिर बहुत ही अच्छी बात हो गई, बच्चे पैदा कर दिए क्योंकि societal pressure था that you wanted to have kids. Otherwise, the society is going to have all set of notions about you and your family. So you just had the kids for the purpose of societal pressure. After that, you are not concerned about the socialization. See, either don't bring kids into the world. That's not required. Nobody is putting pressure. Do not succumb to the societal pressure. But in case you have brought your kid in the society, that's your responsibility to socialize them. That's your responsibility to give them the right kind of value system. Because otherwise, you are not doing harm to the society, but you're doing harm to the rights of the child. The child deserves to be socialized with respect to the right value system. And if you have failed to do that, that's your problem. Is that clear? So freedom दो, लेकिन सही और गलत का फर्क करना भी सिखाओ. Is that very clear? Is it making sense for everyone? Write down. The values inculcated are indifference, apathy. Values inculcated are indifference, apathy, non-involvement. वो अपनी जिंदगी जी रहे हैं. They're least concerned what's happening around. Non-involvement, tendency to identify with antisocial elements. Tendency to identify with anti-social elements. Tendency to identify with anti-social elements. Right? Clear for everyone? ठीक है? No, just next topic that we are taking up is role of mother, and just since that was a personal question, but I can tell one thing. I really don't know what kind of parenting I am giving, because what kind of parenting I am giving would be reflected from the value system of my kid. It may be that I am thinking I am giving democratic parenting, right? But that is what I am thinking. So action speaks louder than words. So what kind of parenting I have given, or for that matter, any parent has given, is reflected in the value system of the kids. So through the behavior of the kid, you will get to know what kind of value system has been given or what kind of parenting has been given. So no parent can tell you what kind of parenting they have resorted to. Right? That's my personal opinion, that I should not resort to physical punishment. That was just an opinion. But then whether my parenting actually proved out or turned out to be democratic, that will be reflected in the value system and the behavior exhibited by my child. Is that clear? Take it. Chalo. Role of mother. See, the mother plays a very significant role in the socialization of the kid. But that depends upon what kind of attachment is existing between the mother and the child. So mother does play a very significant role in socialization of the kid, but that doesn't mean father doesn't. So I totally believe in the concept that father equally plays a very important role. But what I'm trying to say is that mother, since she is the one who's spending maximum time because of the nature of the society that we have, so mother is playing a very significant role in context of socialization. Now the socialization of the kid by the mother depends upon what kind of attachment is there. Is the attachment between mother and child secure attachment, or it is insecure attachment, right? So what do I mean when I say secure attachment? Secure attachment means this is what I mean when I say mother-child relationship is secure. That means the relationship between mother and child is characterized by warmth. Their relationship is driven by trust, mutual respect, where mothering is consistent and the mother is acting as a rational role model. Then it is said that mother and child attachment is secure. Ashish, I'll answer that at the end. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, Abu, you should be. Yes, absolutely, Aman. Okay, Paras, I'll do that. किसने ये बात बोली? एक सेकंड यार, इतनी दूर से ना मुझे तुम लोग का नाम नहीं दिख रहा है. बट मैम, चाइल्ड कैन ग्रो आउट ऑफ पेरेंट्स इन्फ्लुएंस. हाँ बिल्कुल. देयर द रोल ऑफ मीडिया, पीयर ग्रुप, school, it comes into picture. Sagarika, if that is the case, that is the case, so that is wrong. Yes, absolutely we can say किसका नाम है नौशीन. I hope I am pronouncing it correctly. इतनी दूर से मुझे कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है. हाँ बट ठीक है, जो पॉइंट लिखा है वो सही है. To be very honest, I am not in favor of autocratic. इसलिए I am not the right person to say this. मेरे को नहीं जमता है autocratic parenting. ठीक है. मैं आपको बताऊं. अच्छा चलो. सिक्योर पेरेंटिंग नेहा, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग सिक्योर अटैचमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं. दैट व्हेन ओके, एक लाइन लिखो फिर यू विल अंडरस्टैंड बेटर. एक लाइन लिखो, आई विल एक्सप्लेन नेहा, जस्ट गिव मी 2 minutes. जस्ट राइट डाउन. The values developed are empathy, patience, tolerance. Just write the values. Empathy, patience, tolerance, comma, display of bold and confident behavior. 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 Neha, I will take your doubt. Just give me 5 minutes. Display of bold and confident behavior. Next, insecure attachment. Insecure attachment. The moment you will write insecure attachment, you will automatically understand what I mean by secure attachment. So the values inculcated are empathy, patience, tolerance, cooperation, display of bold and confident behavior, etc. Insecure attachment. When mother is impervious to the needs of the child. When the mother is impervious to the needs of the child. Full stop. Places unreasonable demand on the child. Places unreasonable demand on the child. When mother is impervious, matlab not affected by anything. When mother is impervious to the need of the child, full stop. Places unreasonable demand on the child. Places unreasonable demand on the child. When mother-child relationship is characterized by neglect. When mother-child relationship is characterized by neglect, indifference, or when mother-child relationship is characterized by neglect, indifference, or excessive indulgence, places unreasonable demands on the child. When mother-child relationship is characterized by neglect, indifference, or excessive indulgence. I'll take all the doubts. Let me just finish this point. Values inculcated are absence of trust, self-belief, lack of bold, confident behavior, poor achievement orientation, poor achievement orientation, poor achievement orientation. Neha, can you compare the two attachments and can you draw some inference from here now? On one hand, the mother is actually a rational role model. She is quite practical, right? Her thought process is driven by scientific temper. She doesn't talk without logic. If she is asking you to do something, she is also providing logic to that act of yours. She is not providing you the concern on her whims and fancies. Whenever you are in a need, she is always there. So mothering is consistent. It's not that she is busy and, she's not able to devote time to you. And she's not acting as per her convenience. She's trying to accommodate your needs as well. There is a trust. You believe that by chance, God forbid, if you face any crisis, she will always be there. Right? So there is a trust. There is mutual respect for each other. You don't fear your parents. You respect your parents. There is a difference in that. You are not acting out of the fear that you would be thrashed by your mother. If she has asked you not to do certain thing, you are not doing because you understand why it is not supposed to be done. No. You believe that you will be beaten by your mother. That is why you are not doing something. There is kindness in the relationship. That is secure attachment. But either when your mother is totally indifferent, not affected by your needs, right? She is indifferent to your existence. She is neglecting your requirements, or there is overindulgence. What are you doing? With whom you are talking? What kind of friends you are making? There is overindulgence and without logic, right? Unreasonable demands have been placed. That you should not live your life according to your whims and fancies. You should not marry the person of your choice. You should marry the person of her choice. I'm giving you few examples. All right. So she is making unreasonable demands. You should give her more importance than your other friends or family members. So that is what it means when we say insecure attachment. So when there is insecure attachment, trust me, many times I have seen kids where mothers used to indulge in thrashing and, being unreasonable. Suppose karo mother is facing crisis in the family due to some or the other issue. I have seen those mothers treating the kids as a scapegoat. Right? कि अपना गुस्सा बच्चों पे उतार देना. उसकी वजह से बच्चे इतने ज्यादा सोशली ऑकवर्ड हो जाते हैं. They don't have that boldness in their behavior. There is a fear how society would judge them, because that is how they have been socialized since their childhood. So one should not do that kind of behavior. Is that clear? Impervious means indifferent. Autocratic parenting. Shweta, autocratic parenting. Is this very clear for everyone? Okay. With respect to father, a general perception is that father doesn't have any role to play when it comes down to socialization. That is why we do not have the concept of as in the paternity leave. So in order to address that, there is a concept which says that father also plays a very significant role when it comes down to the parenting. He also plays a very significant role in socialization. I know you have asked me to change the slide, and I'm changing the color. Role of father is also very important when it comes down to parenting. So through the process of observation, learning, and rewards and punishment, the father also plays a significant role in socialization. In fact, a boy learns gender appropriate behavior from a father. And a girl learns to make heterosexual adjustments by the father. I know this is not the right kind of parenting where different value system is given, but this is what is being ensured. So we are not saying, why am I making this disclaimer? We are not saying that different values are given. नहीं, हम ये कह रहे हैं how a father is conducting himself or what kind of value system a father has. Boy learns that gender appropriate behavior from the father. If the boy has seen his father indulging in the act of domestic violence or being highly patriarchal or highly being, insulting towards the people of opposite gender, so somewhere deep down the line, the boy learns that behavior from the father. So the role of father in the socialization of boy is very important when it comes down to gender appropriate behavior. And how a girl, to what extent she would be comfortable with the people of opposite gender also depends upon the kind of socialization she has achieved from her father. If the father has been very democratic, very open, very receptive of feedback, you would see her comfort level with opposite gender and that would be reflected. However, if the father has always been very strict, very patriarchal, lot of power distance, that would also be reflected in her conduct with the opposite gender. Is this very clear? Absolutely, Ashish, that's wrong. That's the thought process, Neha. That is the problem with the patriarchal setup where you have stereotyped the role of mother. I'm telling you, the value system of your girl as well as your boy is also reflected from the kind of socialization the father is provided. Is that clear? Nosheen, that is why I didn't react to that example, because I didn't agree to it. When I don't agree to something, I don't react. Is this very clear for everyone? Is it making sense? Write down a question. Write down a question. Comment on the role of family. Comment on the role of family as a source of values. Comment on the role of family हाँ आदित्य, ऑब्जर्वेशन, लर्निंग, रिवॉर्ड एंड पनिशमेंट, यही है, यही है, यही है. Comment on the role of family as a source of values. Comment on the role of family as a source of values, full stop. Give an example of a situation. Give an example of a situation Give an example of a situation where these acquired values, give an example of a situation where these acquired values guided you in a situation of dilemma. Acquired values guided you in a situation of dilemma. In a situation of dilemma. Ten-marker question. Just tell me whether you can answer this question or not. Aditya, what they are trying to emphasize upon is that there exists a misconstrued notion that it is the mother only who plays the role of socialization. As I think Neha pointed out, that if something goes wrong, everybody puts the entire blame on mother, that her socialization was wrong, right? Nobody even care to look at the fact that the hand that rocks the cradle need not necessarily be that of a mother. It can also be that of a father. Father can play a very significant role in the process of socialization, right? So in general, what about those situation where it is the single parent household and the children are brought up by the single father? Don't you think they cannot have a right value system? अगर हम ऐसा कह रहे हैं, so we are having a very prejudiced notions. The father can give you equally good important value system. So it is not always mother who should be held responsible. So the concept of paternity leave, it's high time we should realize that concept, right? Father plays an equally important role in socialization of the kids, one thing. Second thing is that although father can play the role in every which capacity, they can tell you what is right, they can tell you what is wrong through observation learning, through reward and punishment, they can tell you how to conduct yourself in the right way. वो सब अपनी जगह. But on prima facie, if you really want to know what is the most significant component of the socialization provided by the father, then boys, by identifying with their fathers, they learn the gender appropriate behavior. They see, don't you think kids see? Kids watch everything. Kids see how the father is, mother ko bhi dekhte, but I'm generally saying in this context, they observe their father, how father is conducting himself in the presence of other people, in the presence of opposite gender. Is he being respectful towards them? Is he acknowledging their mother? Is he acknowledging the efforts made by her? Is he respecting her space, her autonomy? You know, how is the equation in their marital relation? Is he respecting her or not? All of that. So boy, by identifying with the father, learns the gender appropriate behavior. And to what extent a girl would be comfortable in making heterosexual adjustment, that is adjustment with the opposite sex, will also be determined by what kind of value system has been inculcated by the father. Right? So having or keeping all other factors aside, these are the two most important roles that a father can play in the lives of their kids. That is what I meant. रिमझिम रिवॉर्ड्स एंड पनिशमेंट. अच्छा काम करोगे पापा नई साइकिल ला के देंगे, खराब करोगे तो डांट पड़ेगी. दैट इज रिवॉर्ड्स एंड पनिशमेंट. Now am I clear? Vote dala, I think I didn't read, but now is it clear? Obviously, Ashish, the support of both the parents, nothing can be better than that if you have the support of both the parents. Exactly, Neha, you have to mention about the role of father. Ashish, by giving the paternity leave of 15 days, you are again gender stereotyping the role. You are giving 6 months leave to the mother, right? And you are giving 15 days leave to the father. You are again gender stereotyping the role. Okay, chalo, let's quickly. Next point. Role of educational institutions in inculcating the value. Role of educational institutions in inculcating the value. Roles of educational institution. और just एक चीज, अगर ये पूरा टॉपिक यहां तक कायदे से पढ़ा था, हैंड दैट रॉक्स द क्रैडल वुड नॉट हैव बीन अ डिफिकल्ट एसे टू राइट। इसके बाद केवल आपको एग्जाम्पल्स की जरूरत थी जहां पे आप ये बताते दैट हाउ मदर्स, द स्ट्रॉन्ग मदर्स have led to emergence of strong leadership. So चाहे वो महात्मा गांधी की मदर थी, चाहे वो मार्टिन लूथर किंग जूनियर की मदर थी, चाहे वो अब्राहम लिंकन की मदर थी, ठीक है। सो यू कैन गिव दीज एग्जाम्पल्स टू शोकेस कि या चाहे वो शिवाजी महाराज की मदर थी, सो यू कैन गिव दीज एग्जाम्पल्स दैट हाउ इट वॉज द स्ट्रॉन्ग मदर and a good socialization by the mother which actually resulted into emergence of leaders who have ruled our world. Is that very clear? So in case you have the idea about this conceptual understanding and you have examples at your disposal where good socialization by the mother has shaped the leadership, चाहे वो इंडिया में हो चाहे वो बाहर हो कहीं पे भी. Is this very clear? चलो next, role of educational institutions in inculcating the values. Role of educational institutions in inculcating the values. Pandurang, it is a 10 marker question. Consider, let us say 3 marks, 3 to 4 marks. So at least 50-60 words have to be written. 50, अगर 150 words का आंसर है तो आप ये मान लो 90 to 100 words पहला पार्ट हो गया and 50 to 60 words should be the second part. Example. आदित्य, ये तो इंडिविजुअल पेरेंट्स पे डिपेंड करता है ना बच्चे। जेन्युइनली बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं जो उतने एक्सप्रेसिव नहीं होते हैं, बट टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट आज ना डिस्कशन थोड़ा इस पे चल रहा है क्योंकि तुम लोग के क्वेश्चंस बहुत ज्यादा हैं, बट टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट आई थिंक द बॉयज, भाई बॉयज ही तो आगे चल के फादर बनते हैं, बॉयज हैव बीन सोशलाइज्ड इन अ सच अ वे दैट दे हैव बीन आस्क्ड नॉट टू बी इमोशनल and they have been socialized that you have to be very strict, you have to be very dominating, you can't be emotional. Emotions are the expression of weak personality, so only girls can be emotional, right? Boys, even they feel like crying, they can't cry because they're not allowed to cry. बचपन में आपका लड़का पिट के आता है, पहली चीज अरे रो रहा है, अरे तुम लड़के हो के रो रहे हो, बॉयज आर नॉट सपोज टू क्राई। ये तो सोशलाइजेशन देते हो आप लोग, नहीं आप लोग नहीं मतलब हम लोग। So this is what the value system is being given. और यही लड़की पीट के आ जाए तो फिर you are a girl, you're not supposed to behave like this. There should be some femininity in you. You can't act like this. भैया will take care of it or papa will take care of it. So the boys have all their life been socialized in such a way that they are not allowed to express the emotions. And the day they stop doing that, तो पहली चीज क्या सुनने को मिलती है, तुम में तो इमोशंस ही नहीं है. The girlfriend puts the charge on boyfriend that you are such an emotionless person. You don't express your feelings. Arey, that is how they've been socialized, bhai. Similarly, the fathers have been asked to maintain a distance. Fathers are not supposed to express their emotion. Otherwise, it goes against the socialization of boys wala jo norm hai. Is that very clear? So that is the problem. ठीक है, चलो. Role of educational institutions in inculcating values. Write down. Formal, it's a formal agency of socialization. It's a formal agency of socialization. It is a formal agency of socialization. Full stop. It provides a medium. It provides a medium where individual learns to communicate. It provides a medium where individual learns to communicate with those. It provides a medium where individual learns to communicate with those who are neither kin nor friends. Who are neither kin nor friends. Kin matlab relative. Next. Child learns cooperation. Child learns cooperation. Accept differences. Accept differences. And becomes adaptive. Child learns cooperation, accepts differences, and becomes adaptive. Via socialization provided by school. Child learns cooperation, accept differences, becomes adaptive by socialization provided by schools. It acts as a bridge. Third point, school का है. It acts as a bridge between family and society. It acts as a bridge between family and society. And prepares child for his or her role in adulthood. Prepares child for his or her role in adulthood. It instills values such as equality, brotherhood, achievement orientation, etc. Achievement orientation, etc. Next. Three components within the education system. Which plays a significant role. Three components within the education system which plays a significant role in socialization are role of teachers, role of educational curriculum, and extracurricular activities. Accepts differences, मतलब चित्रांश, diversity. They accept diversity. They become accommodative of diversity. They become more tolerant. Because in school you meet people from different socio-economic backgrounds, right? So you start accepting the diversity, you become more accommodative and tolerant towards diverse nature of the society. Is that clear? That's what it means. Okay? Write down. Teachers are great role models. Teachers are great role models. And their actions, you all might have, this is a very true thing, that in your school days, all of us do have that one or two teachers who have a very strong impact on our personality, on our value system. We actually look up to them in true sense. Okay? So that is there. All of us have had that, most of us, I again would not generalize, but yeah. Okay? So teachers are great role models and their actions leave a great impact, and their action leaves a great impact on children in their impressionable age. Leaves a great impact on children in their impressionable age. Teachers can influence the behavior. Absolutely, absolutely. Tare Zameen Par. It's a good example of teacher. And it's a good example of bad parenting. It can influence the behavior of students. Teachers can influence the behavior of students through their unbiased treatment, commitment, diligence, timeliness, ability to walk the talk, comma, ability to develop curiosity, in the minds of the students, ability to develop curiosity in the minds of the students. Next, they can play a significant role. In influencing the self-attribution patterns of learner. I'll explain this point. They can play a significant role in influencing self-attribution patterns of learners. Positive self-attribution. What I mean by positive self-attribution is, see, we all are humans. We have a tendency, or we are curious to know that what is the motive behind our behavior. If we are behaving in a certain manner, especially kids, they are very curious to know that what is the reason why we are behaving in a certain manner. So that motive, to identify the motive behind their behavior, is nothing but self-attribution, right? Now it depends upon your teachers whether you will have a positive self-attribution or a negative self-attribution. For example, you were not paying attention in the class. You were always busy looking outside the window, right? And you were very annoyed with this behavior of yours also, because you want, like every other, who doesn't want to score well, who doesn't want to do good And who doesn't want to, be praised by everyone around? Everyone wants that, right? But there was a kid who was busy looking outside the window, not paying attention in the class. So he wanted to know what is the reason behind this behavior. So he asked one of the teacher, and the teacher said, because tum nalayak ho. You have no interest in studies. You are looking for n number of excuses for not paying attention in the class. One of them being the watching outside. That is the problem. You are never serious. You will never achieve anything in your life. This is what it has been said. Obviously, he was very upset. He was very demotivated. He went back, sat down on his seat. And again, this pattern continued. He tried his level best, but he was just not able to focus on what was happening in the class. So he was continuing looking outside the window. Then there was a teacher who asked that what's so interesting outside the window that you're busy looking at it. So he said, I don't know, but this is how I behave. But I don't know the reason why I'm so fascinated that I'm always looking outside. I know this is killing my time and this is killing my opportunities, but this is how I am. So the teacher said, do you know something about yourself? You have that knack of observation. You are a nature loving person. There is a very good potential that in later years of your life, you will emerge as a very sound and renowned environmentalist. Because you have that love, you have that knack of observing the nature. And that is what is happening. He was so impressed. He was so happy with himself. Pehli baar word suna tha, acha, environmentalist, nature lover. So now he can talk with his friends, the friends who initially were demeaning him, were mocking him कि यार तेरे तो पढ़ाई वढ़ाई में ध्यान लगता नहीं है, सर ने भी बोल दिया तू किसी काम का नहीं है. But then there was another teacher who told him कि नहीं, you have very bright future. You can emerge as a very sound and renowned environmentalist. He was so proud of himself. Then he started boasting to his friends, you know what? You have never heard of this profession. तुम लोग तो सब डॉक्टर इंजीनियर बनोगे. I will be an environmentalist. I will be a researcher. I will be doing great works because I have that knack of observing the nature. I'm a nature loving person, which is not everybody's cup of tea. But then teacher explained, but do you know that this knack of yours, observing the nature, can actually be turned in something concrete if you start paying attention, because just to observe the nature is not enough. You need to learn about the nature. And so as to learn about the nature, you need to focus on what is being done in the class. And the student from there on started focusing in the class. Did you understand? Whether it is a positive self-attribution or it is a negative self-attribution. Whether you will be motivated all throughout your life or you will be disenchanted, you would be disappointed with your own self. You will give up on your life. That depends upon what kind of socialization you've been provided by the teachers. Because family को तो फिर भी हल्के में लेते हैं. Teachers की opinion आपके बारे में क्या है बहुत matter करती है. Right? So this is one of the major role which a teacher has to play. They have to be tolerant. They have to be compassionate. They have to be rational. They have to be practical. अगर teacher खुद casteist है, खुद patriarchal है, खुद negatively oriented है, pessimistic है, what kind of socialization are you providing to the kids? Trust me, in India, the least lucrative or remunerative profession is primary school teaching. But according to me, it should be the highly remunerative thing. Trust me, it is easy to teach kids at your age. Are you getting my point? That I have to come, and I know that you guys are grown-up people. You have certain ideas, but to teach a kid like the toddlers or, the preschool education or the education from first to class 5th is the most challenging task. And that is the most important task. Those are your foundational years when the future of this nation is getting shaped. Is that very clear? So this becomes very important. So the role of teacher is very important. Is that clear? So write down, we need teachers with the following values. We need teachers with the following values. We need teachers with following values: empathy, compassion, impartiality, integrity, etc. आप कुछ भी लिख सकते हो, जितनी अच्छी चीज है वो सब लिख दो कि ऐसे टीचर्स चाहिए हमें. एम्पैथी, कंपैशन, इम्पार्शियलिटी, इंटीग्रिटी, एक्सेट्रा. Next, role of curriculum. I can read all the things which are written on the portal, and I totally agree. There have been times that all of us have not had very good experiences, but yeah, even if one person, one teacher at your school level has brought about any changes in your life, so one should appreciate that, right? But yeah, I also have such experiences in my life. In fact, just a small thing, physics was the section which I did not like at all. And I would not blame it, but yeah, I started disliking the subject more because of certain experiences with the teacher. So that can be one of the reason. इसको classic conditioning कहते हैं, by attaching. But that you don't, I did not dislike the subject, but after certain experiences with certain teacher in my life, I started disliking the subject, right? So that is classic conditioning which happens. So that, yeah, it happens like this, right? Chalo. Right now, role of curriculum. Role of curriculum. The education system is failing to inculcate the right kind of values. The education system is failing to inculcate right kind of values due to following factors. First, the gap between the text and the context, matlab theory and practical aspect. The gap between the text and the context. Divide between text and context. Second, lack of sync between teachings at school and family. As in, the value system inculcated by the school is different from the value system inculcated by the family. That is one of the problem I'm saying. I'm not generalizing. Lack of sync between teachings at school and family. Lack of sync between teachings at the school and family. Next. Lack of outcome-based learning. Lack of outcome-based learning. Outcome-based learning. Lack of outcome-based learning, comma. Lack of scientific temper. Lack of scientific temper. Parochial evaluative standards. Parochial evaluative standards. Parochial evaluative standards. Lack of value-based education system. Lack of value-based education system. Lack of value-based education system. Etc. You can write more points to it. Okay. Hence, change the para and write, or change. So write, hence, focus on vocational education, कॉमा एजुकेशन इन मदर टंग, वो जो भी नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के पैरामीटर्स है ना वो यहां लिख दो. फोकस ऑन वोकेशनल एजुकेशन, कॉमा education in mother tongue, comma, mechanism of storytelling, anecdotes, mechanism of storytelling, anecdotes, एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग, इसके लिए एक वर्ड होता है एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग, एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग और एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग। जो भी पॉइंट्स, मैं कोई डिक्टेट नहीं कर रही हूं, दीज आर द पॉइंट्स विच आर मेंशन्ड इन नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी। Actually, education is no longer a service. It has become a profession. So with more commercialization, एक point था ना, trivialization of the aim of education. That is happening with us. We have trivialized the aim of education. There was a time when the aim of education was building the character, personality. Now it is just to seek the minimum knowledge which is required, right? Experiential learning, Rimjim. Storytelling, anecdotes, activity based learning or experiential learning, ये pedagogy use करनी चाहिए to make the learning more interesting. Desire to learn होना चाहिए। आजकल बच्चों को desire ही नहीं है learn करने का, so that is the problem. Next, culture specific inputs, culture specific inputs culture specific inputs so that it facilitates child's adjustment, culture specific input so that it facilitates child's adjustment in social milieu. It facilitates child's adjustment in social milieu. Matlab, the kind of education you are providing should be in sync with the socio-cultural milieu where the child belongs to. For example, with respect to tribal education, you have to be very specific. So you have to take note of the diverse socio-cultural milieu those kids belong to. You cannot have one size fit all approach. Your content should keep in the mind the kind of students you are addressing. Is that very clear? Is that clear? बिल्कुल चित्रांश, बिल्कुल। इनफैक्ट वो जो मॉरल एजुकेशन की क्लास को फ्री पीरियड लेते थे, हम तो लेते थे, हमारा टीचर भी इंटरेस्टेड नहीं होते थे पढ़ाने में, और शायद इसलिए भी क्योंकि स्टूडेंट सीरियसली नहीं लेते थे, तो शायद सर भी हमें सीरियसली नहीं लेते थे। एंड दैट वाज द पीरियड विच वी यूज्ड टू use for either playing, chit chatting, or if we were solving, coaching institute join कर रखा था हमने, 9th-10th की बात है, तो वो मैथ्स की हमारे पास शीट्स होती थी, तो मैथ्स हो गया, साइंस हो गया, तो उन सबको हम सॉल्व करते थे। तो दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम, कभी हमने फोकस ही नहीं किया वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन सिस्टम पे। सोशल मिलियू मतलब सोसाइटी, कल्चर, सोशल फैब्रिक, किस सोसाइटी से आते हैं हम। जैसे सपोज करो आप पढ़ा रहे हो, अरे झूम कल्टीवेशन इज वेरी बैड, शिफ्टिंग कल्टीवेशन इज वेरी हार्मफुल फॉर एनवायरमेंट। ट्राइबल बच्चे को आपने पढ़ा दिया, द ट्राइबल चाइल्ड वेंट बैक होम एंड टोल्ड हिज पेरेंट्स दैट शिफ्टिंग कल्टीवेशन इज वेरी बैड। पेरेंट्स आर लाइक, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एजुकेशन आर यू प्रोवाइडिंग टू आवर किड, बिकॉज वी आर इन्वॉल्व्ड इन शिफ्टिंग कल्टीवेशन ओनली। Did you get the point? So whenever you are teaching something, at least be aware about the social fabric to which the child belongs to. Is that clear? Too much disconnect agar hota hai na in the value system which is given in the school and given in the family, so that also is one of the reason for high dropouts. In fact, I told you, I guess, that there was a survey which was done with respect to tribal families, and it was found that tribal adults, they withdrew their children from the school because they believe the kind of education which is being provided is resulting into the disconnect of the children from their traditional value system. So that is also the reason why they have been dropped out from the schools. So you have to take care of these factors. इसी के बाद रिमझिम इसी के बाद. After this you have to write that you need to think global but act local. That fine, you are thinking at a larger context of equality, liberty, justice, but at the while implementing, you have to take note. For example, education in mother tongue. That is thinking, acting local. Or providing them vocational training with respect to those activities which has a market in their vicinity. That is acting local. Is that clear? रोल ऑफ करिकुलम, द फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऐसे लिखवाया था मैंने कि एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज फेलिंग टू इनकलकेट द राइट काइंड ऑफ वैल्यूज because there exists divide between text and context. I think this is how I started, Priya. Is this very clear for everyone? I was not thinking of giving you a content on value based education, but मुझे लग रहा है हम लिख ही लेते हैं थोड़ा बहुत. Value based education, you might get a separate question on that. By the way, whatever content we are discussing, this would not be available at any one place. ठीक है, इधर उधर से कलेक्ट किया है, कुछ किसी ने लिख भी दिया था, ये मीड की थ्योरी है. ठीक है, सो हाँ थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर से, तो या सो लिख लो, वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन भी लिख लो. राइट डाउन. Value based education. Give the heading, value based education. I'm generally giving you a write up. It might help you in case you get a question. आप खुद से भी बना सकते हो. एक एग्जाम्पल देके बता रही हूं कि वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन अगर है तो कैसे करेंगे, फिर ऑन द सिमिलर लाइंस यू कैन आंसर द क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है, राइट डाउन. Values are generalized preferences. Values are generalized preferences to lead a particular kind of life. Values are एक सेकेंड, ग्लोबल वाला पॉइंट. I was saying that culture specific inputs should be provided so that it facilitates the adjustment of the child in the social milieu. ठीक है, so culture specific input should be provided so that the child can adjust in the social milieu. That is, think global but act local. That is what I said. Think global but act local. Then I gave you an example. For example, in context of tribal education, you have to make sure that the educational content which you are providing is in sync with their socio-cultural milieu. That is, it is in sync with their cultural aspects. So I said culture specific input should be provided so that it can facilitate child's adjustment into social milieu. That is, one needs to think global but act local. अब ठीक है सबको? आगे बढ़े. Value based education system. Write down. Values are generalized preferences. Values are generalized preferences. Values are generalized preferences to lead a certain kind of life. Values are generalized preferences to lead a certain kind of life. Full stop. Like compassion, integrity, love, happiness, etc. दो चार values लिख दो. compassion, integrity, love, happiness, etc. Full stop. Since values are learned through socialization, since values are learned through socialization, since values are learned through socialization, therefore, education must help. Therefore, education must help to inculcate appropriate values. Since values are learned through socialization, therefore, education must help to inculcate appropriate values like harmony, compassion, peace, humility, etc. Compassion, peace, humility, etc. Aristotle said, I'm giving you a quotation. Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Is no education at all. So according to Aristotle, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Gandhiji also stressed that literary education is of no value when Gandhiji gave the concept of Nai Talim. Then he said literary education is of no value. Literary education is of no value if it is not able to build a sound character. Literary education is of no value if it is not able to build a sound character. Right now. Value-based education prepares the young generation. Value-based education prepares the young generation to develop their own creative ways, to respond to westernization. Value education prepares the young generation to develop their own creative ways to respond to the force of westernization. Full stop. Values can guide individual actions. Values can guide individual actions. Values can guide individual actions based on principles of fairness, goodness, I'll repeat, values can guide individual actions based on principles of fairness, goodness, wisdom, to differentiate between the right and wrong. To differentiate between right and wrong. To differentiate between right and wrong. For example, to differentiate between the potential, for example, डाल के लिखना, I'm saying values guide individual actions on the base. See, if you have value-based education, so whatever actions you are performing, that would be guided by goodness, that would be guided by fairness, that would be guided by wisdom, which will allow you to differentiate between right and wrong. For example, you would be able to differentiate between the potential and the pitfall of any technological advancement. अगर आपको वैल्यू सिस्टम अच्छा मिला है तो ऐसे क्या होगा, you would not be able, there is some technological advancement happened. Now whether it has some potential to it or it has its own share of pitfalls, how would you be able to differentiate between right and wrong depends upon whether you have been provided value based education or not. Because if you are provided value based education, then your actions will be governed by fairness, goodness, wisdom, constructive attitude, etc. Is that clear? So values can guide individual actions based on fairness, goodness, wisdom, etc. to differentiate between right and wrong. For example, ability to differentiate between the potential and the pitfalls of some technological and scientific advancements, Next. It is the value education which helps us. It is the value-based education which helps us to learn the value of being considerate. It is the value-based education which helps us to learn the value of being considerate towards the marginalized section, comma, it inculcates the ability in us. It inculcates the ability in us to fight the challenges posed by social prejudices. It inculcates the ability in us to fight the challenges posed by social prejudices. And why? And how it happens? Because if you are given value-based education, automatically the personality that you will acquire will have the traits of courage, compassion, integrity. So yes, you will be proactively able to fight these menace or the social prejudices which are existing in the society. इसीलिए value-based education की जरूरत है. Write down. Because it will help us to develop a personality because it will help us to develop a personality with traits like courage, compassion, integrity, etc. Next, I am trying to touch different elements. You can add more to it. Next, value-based education also enables us, value-based education also enables us to promote national integration. To promote national integration. ब्रैकेट में लिखना, ड्यू टू वैल्यूज ऑफ टॉलरेंस, ब्रदरहुड, नॉन वायलेंस, एक्सेट्रा. ड्यू टू वैल्यूज ऑफ टॉलरेंस, ब्रदरहुड, नॉन वायलेंस, एक्सेट्रा. Next, last point, overall लिख लो. Hence, we can say that value education empowers the citizens with certain attitude as well as the ability, with certain attitude as well as the ability to constructively face different challenges. To constructively face different challenges and create a virtuous society. To constructively face different challenges and create a virtuous society. Obviously, currently हमारे पास problems है ना, materialism है, consumerism है, environmental degradation है, fundamentalism है, terrorism है, ठीक है. सो इन सारी चीजों को हैंडल करने के लिए वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इज दिस वेरी क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन? इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? आई विल गिव द क्वेश्चंस एट द एंड. अभी हम एक लास्ट पॉइंट लिखो, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज. रोल ऑफ करिकुलम हो गया है ना, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज लिखो. एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज बस एक लाइन लिखनी है. इट हेल्प्स इन डेवलपिंग, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज, इट हेल्प्स इन डेवलपिंग टीम बिल्डिंग, इट हेल्प्स इन डेवलपिंग टीम बिल्डिंग, कोऑपरेटिव बिहेवियर, टीम बिल्डिंग, cooperative behavior, tolerance, commitment, etc. It helps in developing team building, cooperative behavior, tolerance, commitment, etc. Commitment, etc. Now write down one or two questions and then we'll see. एक क्वेश्चन दूं, खुद से ट्राई करोगे? Just write down. बाय द वे यस्टरडे आई गेव यू राइट अप ना, जिसमें वो थोड़ा एक दो डेफिनेशंस और एक दो वैल्यूज वगैरह थी, दैट इंटीग्रिटी, कंपैशन, विजडम, एंगर, हैप्पीनेस, वो वाला। आई थिंक इट इज अपलोडेड, मैंने कल दे दिया था, ठीक है ना। ऑल 3 बैचेस, आई होप इट इज अपलोडेड। एक क्वेश्चन लिखो, I just want to see whether you can write the answer or not. ठीक है, so don't get baffled if you're not able to. I just want to see. Write down. Integrity is a value. Integrity is a value that empowers the human being. Integrity is a value that empowers the human being. Justify with suitable illustration. Justify with suitable illustration. Justify with suitable illustration. Integrity is a value which empowers a human being. Justify with suitable illustration. Can you think over it for 5 minutes? Can you think over this question? I've generally given this question. I just wanted to see whether you guys can attempt such questions or not. You have the material with you, right? At least you know the definition of integrity. When the path of righteousness is followed across time and space, that is integrity. When you practice being honest and when you show consistent and uncompromising adherence to the ethical principles, that is integrity. प्रसंत, मैंने कई बार बोला है बेटा, आपके सामने मैंने क्लास में कितनी बार बोला है, मुझे पता ही नहीं ये लोग क्या कर रहे हैं। Fine, Gandhiji's example, absolutely correct. Yes, you can write. You have to tell how it will empower a human being. Agar, remember I told you, if you are a person of integrity, you have good status in the society, you have good relationship with others, it would be easy for you to build trust. Did you get the point? You will have the courage if you are a person of integrity. You will be able to confront the social challenges which are existing. Remember, I told you it will provide you peace of mind because you have not done anything wrong. It will establish your credibility in the society. You can emerge as a sound leader also, because one of the most indispensable trait of a good leadership is whether the person has integrity or not. Is that clear? It will ensure quick decision making. You will be able to resolve dilemmas because you are a person of integrity. You will never choose a path which is away from your value system. Right? So examples of Lal Bahadur Shastri, example of T.N. Seshan, example of Gandhi ji, example of Sachin Tendulkar, example of APJ Abdul Kalam. कितने एग्जाम्पल्स दे सकते हैं? हाँ ऋषभ, कर सकते हैं बच्चे, बट जब हमारे पास इतने अच्छे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं तो फिर क्यों करना? पांडुरंग, गांधी जी, एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम, वेरी गुड. बी आर अंबेडकर, ठीक है, बिल्कुल. जिसका एग्जाम्पल man of character, absolutely. Confidence, because you have not done anything wrong. Openness is there. Courage is there. कोई personality में fear ही नहीं है. Perfect. Your credibility. Walk the talk. Your social prestige will improve. See, you have understood it so well. Now, did you understand? Suppose you get a question, you just know the concept. You just know the concept. You can write the answer provided you have examples at your disposal. और देखो बच्चे, अब तो मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि अगर ट्रेंड कंटिन्यू रहा तो ऐसे में all 8 topics will be from philosophical if the trend continues, and even if it doesn't, 4 topics तो at least हैं philosophical, right? This is what we are seeing in past also. So you should have enough examples at your disposal, and personality examples होना बहुत जरूरी है if you have to nail ethics paper as well as essay में philosophical topics. So look for such examples like Abraham Lincoln हो गए, Martin Luther King हो गए, गांधी जी हो गए, B.R. अम्बेडकर हो गए, लाल बहादुर शास्त्री हो गए, सैम मानेकशॉ हो गए, APJ अब्दुल कलाम हो गए, मदर टेरेसा हो गए. There are so many examples, स्वामी विवेकानंद हो गए. So you can write so many examples. Is that clear? नहीं आदित्य, ऐसा नहीं है. If it is a good example that you can write, and you can write it in a very crisp format, absolutely you can write. Yes. बिल्कुल आशीष, absolutely. Charismatic personality. Confidence, very good. Nelson Mandela. Absolutely. See, you have so many examples. Now, did you understand? It's a 10-marker question. Sardar Patel. So you have examples, right? ठीक है, बस एक काम करना, जब आप ये पॉइंट्स लिखोगे ना, एक तरीका सिखा रही हूं लिखने का. 1 मिनट. हाँ भाई, तुम्हारा डिनर टाइम हो गया है. आई जस्ट टेक 1 minute of yours. By the way, this question was this year's UPSC question. 1 second बस मुझे दे दो. I will not take much of your time. I just wanted to see whether you guys can approach this question or not, which I am super happy that you guys can. Just give me 1 minute of yours. I will not take much time. दिख क्यों नहीं रहा है मुझे? मैं सिर्फ एक आंसर लिखने का तरीका सिखाना चाहती हूं कि जब ये ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं जिसमें you have to write illustrations in order to explain. I hope this is visible for everyone. ठीक है? So the question was, integrity is a value which empowers the human being, and you have to justify your arguments with suitable illustration. So whenever you are giving an argument, you have to provide the illustration there and then. This is my personal belief. ये नहीं कि पहले argument दे दिया और बाद में एक साथ examples लिख दिए, तो फिर समझ नहीं आएगा कि which illustration is for which argument. For example, you can start with any one of this definition. Whichever definition, you don't have to write both. This is just an advice. And easiest definition is when path of righteousness is followed across time and space. ठीक है? So it is a quality of being honest or having strong and sound moral principles. What are the features of a person with integrity? The person who has integrity takes responsibility for their own action. They manifest humility. They choose honesty in all their things. They put others' needs above themselves, right? So these are the features, and this I have provided in the content. Hence, when a person is able to maintain integrity, they are destined for greatness, as it will empower him in different ways. Is this clear? For example, if you are practicing integrity at work, it will make it easy for you to build trust, to take on responsibility, and to advance in career. This will instill professionalism in you if you are a person of integrity. Obviously, people will trust you because you've never been dishonest. You will be able to take on the responsibilities for your action. You will be able to advance in your career. For example, Ratan Tata. He's a perfect example of person with integrity when it comes down to workplace. So professionalism. Then integrity will also help you in conducting your duties with utmost sincerity. For example, T.N. Seshan. He established himself as an icon of transparency and efficiency. In fact, he once said, I cherish my rigid intention to integrity. He was the one who introduced various reforms in context of elections. He was the one who was heading the election commission, and he took it outside the control of the political leadership. In fact, he once said, I am like a ball. The more you try to crush me, the more I will bounce back. So that's the quality of T.N. Seshan. So can you see, with the argument I am giving the example, integrity provides you courage because you have nothing to fear. It helps in challenging corrupt practices. For example, Ashok Khemka. For example, Durga Shakti Nagpal. आप और ज़्यादा administrative examples दे सकते हो. Is that clear? It provides you peace of mind. There is no sense of guilt. Then, integrity empowers a person in establishing good relations also. Humility manifest करते हो ना, humble होते हो, grounded होते हो. For example, APJ Abdul Kalam. Then it also helps you establishing your credibility because you are the most trustworthy and dependable. यहाँ पे श्रीनिवास का एग्जाम्पल दे सकते थे ड्यूरिंग द कोविड क्राइसिस, राइट? सिमिलरली इट इनेबल्स यू टू इमर्ज एज अ लीडर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लाल बहादुर शास्त्री, फॉर एग्जाम्पल गांधी जी, बिकॉज दिस इज द मोस्ट इंडिस्पेंसिबल एंड अनडिस्प्यूटेबल ट्रेट ऑफ लीडरशिप. यू कैन गिव एग्जाम्पल ऑफ सचिन तेंदुलकर. क्रेडिबिलिटी में भी आप सचिन तेंदुलकर का एग्जाम्पल डाल सकते हो. There was a time when he was, I think, on 99 runs, and the appeal was made that he's out. So before even listening to the decision of the umpire, he left the field because he knew that he's out. And उस time पे umpire ने not out का decision दिया था, but he left the field. That's his integrity, his sportsmanship. It empowers the individual in resolving conflicts and dilemmas to make quick decisions, and then you can conclude. Did you get the point which I'm trying to say? That whenever you are giving examples, give examples along with the argument. मुस्कान समझ आ गया बच्चे? बच्चे 60 वर्ड्स में क्या लिखोगे? बिल्कुल, ये किसने लिखा है? नेहा. बस जब ये बॉडी लिख रहे हो ना तो एग्जाम्पल्स देती जाना. यही मेरा पॉइंट था कि जो ये सब्सटैंसिएशन बाद में कर रही हो ना, ये आर्ग्यूमेंट के साथ करती जाना. अदरवाइज आंसर इज वेरी गुड. विशाखा, आई विल डू इट. थोड़ा सा समय दे दो, मैं पक्का कर दूंगी. नहीं अबू, इट्स मोर अबाउट द प्रेजेंटेशन. बट नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. यू कैन लुक फॉर योर ओन यूनिक एग्जाम्पल्स. नहीं, बिल्कुल लिख सकते हो प्रिवेलिंग पर्सनालिटीज. बट एक ओपिनियन अबू मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी कि वेन एवर वी आर गिविंग, नो मैटर दे आस्क अस आर ओपिनियन, बट लेट्स नॉट गिव एनी एग्जाम्पल विच इज कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल. आपको पता है ये एग्जाम्पल्स क्यों चूज किए जाते हैं? क्योंकि ये कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल नहीं होते. सबको पता है एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम, सबको पता है टीएन शेषान, सबको पता है लाल बहादुर शास्त्री. एवरीवन नोज अबाउट अशोक खेमका. सो दीज आर फ्यू एग्जाम्पल्स विच आर नॉन कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल. दैट इज वाई वी चूज दीज एग्जाम्पल्स. दैट्स ऑल. इज दैट क्लियर? इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? ठीक है. कैन वी कंक्लूड द लेक्चर नाउ? I'll continue in the next class. Next class में I'll just take hardly 45 minutes to 1 hour and socialization will come to an end. And then I have to start with attitude. So in the next class I'll start with attitude. It's an important topic. ठीक है? So I'll just take 40-45 minutes because छोटे छोटे करना है. एक peer group का करना है, media का करना है और religion का करना है. Maximum 45 to 50 minutes would be required. And we'll start with attitude. Okay, Aman. Okay, बच्चे. So you're welcome. ठीक है? So yeah, Ashish, please post your question again. Officially, the lecture ends. Officially, the lecture ends, and I hope you guys are understanding that how we are supposed to proceed. Trust me, it's not a difficult paper. It's quite an interesting paper. हाँ आशीष, एक बार फिर से पोस्ट कर दो बच्चे, एक बार फिर से कर दो. मुझे ऊपर जाना पड़ेगा देखने के लिए. So officially the class ends. I'll just answer Ashish का question. Sorry, but please एक बार फिर से post कर दो. You two guys take care of yourself and have your meal now. I know you guys are having 2 lectures every day and it is very taxing. So yeah, take care of yourself. Nahi Saurabh, agencies of socialization not completed. Peer group, media, religion still left. Ma'am, about forced marriage and if one got separated if that marriage is spoiling. So will that affect society? See, any breaking of institution or relationship, ठीक है, it definitely affects society. Breaking of marriage is not good. Listen, but let me finish. So any breakdown of an institution or a relationship is not good, right? However, at the end of it, if the marriage is forced, it is a toxic relationship, ठीक है, it is better to break that marriage. Reason being that when you are in a toxic relationship, it impacts your mental peace, it impacts your productivity, it impacts your social relationships, it impacts your ability to differentiate, discriminate between what is right, what is wrong. ठीक है, you are under a lot of stress. So overall, remaining in a toxic relationship is more harmful to a society rather than coming out of that relationship. See, overall, nobody wants the institutions to break. Nobody wants the relationships to break. That should not happen, ideally. That is why before getting into a marital alliance, the parents should not force their kids. There are other factors which are very important: compatibility, emotional setup, choices, preferences. There should be some commonality, right? So living in a toxic relation will do more harm to the society rather than coming out of it. So in case one is in a toxic relation, it is better to come out of that relationship, because then you will be at least at peace with yourself. You will be more productive at your workplace, right? You would be able to contribute more to the society as per your potential. So that is the thing. Oh Baba, okay Shubham. Did you understand? Okay. So I'll put a disclaimer: no breakdown of relation is good, neither for the individual nor for the family. It does leave a scar. But living in a toxic relation will do more damage to the individual also, to the family also, and to the society also. So then one should not care about what certain elements of the society are saying. If you believe that's a toxic relation, one should come out of it. That's just the opinion, right? Is that very clear? Is it making sense? So on this note, we will conclude. Mail ID not as of now. Let me just finish with the lectures. I'll give you at the end. ठीक है? चलो, bye people. Take care. Good night. We'll meet on Monday, I guess.